Okay, this is Sig Gorski. It's Monday, June 20th, 2011. The time is about 16:50 hours, 4:50 in the afternoon. And I'm here on County Road 55 in Haldimand County, near Hagersville. Hagersville is, you could say, roughly halfway between Detroit and Toronto in Ontario. But closer to Lake Erie. And what we see is a view looking north along this rural road. And we have a fatal rollover collision that occurred here earlier this morning at night. And I've set up some cones here on the road, and they are 50 meters apart. And so the first cone that you see in the foreground here on this east shoulder is 250 meters from the final rest position of the vehicle. So we're coming up here, and what you'd normally try and do is pick up where this vehicle got off onto the shoulder, and unfortunately we can't. If we look carefully along the asphalt edge, you should see a little whitening of the gravel right along the edge. Where there is whitening, you know, the color is lighter or whiter, a lighter shade. That's where tires have been coming off the paved surface onto the shoulder. So that's a fairly significant observation whenever you're looking for something like that. Now, here we are set up. I had set up a carpenter's level, which got knocked over by that transport truck. But I wanted to show you what the slope of this shoulder is, and so that's why I set it up. I've kind of moved the gravel around a little bit to give myself a to level out this level. And then what we do is we take this this tape measure, we place it to the end here, and we take a look at what the reading is. It's kind of fallen down now a little bit since it was 5.5 inches. It's now 5, but nevertheless it's fairly significant. And as a matter of fact, you can see it's not quite, the ball's not quite in the middle there, but almost. So that's why we would say it's about 5.5 inches. Now, if you look along here, you can probably now pick up the first evidence, visible evidence of a tire mark. From this cone, if you look at this cone in the foreground, and you follow toward the roadway, you should see two dark curved lines. And those are the tire marks from the subject vehicle. I would say typically the darkest lines would be on the left, two left tires, meaning the left rear and the left front. Those will be the darkest, and that's the only thing that's visible right now. So you can see that the vehicle is already yawing. What I mean by yawing, it's rotating about its center of gravity. So if you stuck a pole down the middle of the vehicle, a vertical pole, and you cause the vehicle to rotate around that pole, that's yawing. It's rotating around that vertical axis. So that's what's happening here. The vehicle is yawing. It's already out of control, and that's why we're picking up these tire marks, these black tire marks. And let me just see if I can just point those out. Okay, so here we have, probably here is the left front, and normally the other one, the black one here, would be the left rear. And you can look back and with this camera anyway, or the other one, and pick up the whitening, as I said, of this gravel right here where the tire was. And it wasn't over here, for example, but it was in this area where my fingers are. The interesting part of this is that we do have one curious little fresh gouge right beside that that left rear tire. Who knows what that is? It's kind of curious, and it's very short-lived. You know, could it be from something that happened after the collision? It could have, but nevertheless, it's curious. Whatever it was short-lived. It didn't stay on the ground for very long. And if we continue on, you can see that these tire marks eventually move toward the two cones on the east shoulder, where we will see the rollover. So now we move on, and you can see how these tire marks now curve toward the east shoulder, and the tires are rotating, slipping. That's why we have this yawing. And if you might be able to just look over here, just to the right of the two, you should be able to pick up one tire mark, an additional one, and then another one kind of in the middle. I got a car coming, so I'm going to let him go by. But now you should be able to see 4 tire marks. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Right near that east asphalt edge. Okay, you should see one in the middle between the 2 dark ones, and then you should see one just to the right over here, where we pick up the 4th one. So now we got all 4 tire marks. And as we progress, the vehicle is now headed into the grass ditch, and so now very obviously it's sliding sideways. I would say it's probably leading with its left like it normally does in this kind of situation. And now it encounters all this grass and soft earth where it starts to dig in, and that's what causes the vehicle to roll.